Welcome back, Russ. Welcome back to me. I never left.
You never left.
All right, guys. So last couple of days we were together. Times we were together. We were talking about paying off credit cards. Okay, and what were some of the things that what were some of the big takeaways? Big things that you noticed, or maybe you learned, or hadn't really considered. What's up? Interest is a big problem. Okay, what about your APR? Okay, your APR is the percentage rate that you're going to have to pay the bank. Okay, what happens with that APR though? Before you do any calculations, there's two things that we have to do with it. Number one, we definitely need to change it to a decimal. Okay, and Drew, you guys at home can't see, but Drew is doing this. He said move the decimal point over 2 spaces. Okay, what's the other thing that we have to do? What was that? Divide by what? 12. Okay, because that APR is the annual percentage rate, and you're going to make payments every month. Okay. Now, what were some other things that we noticed? Some things that we ran into were like, oh, well, if I'm doing this in the real life, I should do what?
So more like you get down to 0, the less you pay.
As if you're paying a percentage of your balance, as your balance gets lower, the amount of money that you pay gets lower as well. Okay, which means that that payment plan can last forever and ever and ever. So what should you do? After at some point, okay, change the amount that you're going to pay to a fixed rate. So no longer pay 10% of the balance, pay a fixed $500. What's up?
When you, like, per se, you buy something on credit, couldn't you just do an Excel sheet and see how long it would take to pay it off?
Yeah. Okay, Drew says if you buy something on credit card, couldn't you set up an Excel sheet to figure out how long it's going to take to pay? Absolutely. In fact, that's what I had some of you guys do. Okay, in fact, that's what I had all of you guys do. The catch is, if you're only paying a fixed dollar amount, or excuse me, if you're always paying a percentage, you will never pay that off all the way. Because if you're paying 5%, that means 95% is still left unpaid. Okay, and they're going to put interest on that 95%. Okay, so at some point, it makes sense to switch over to a fixed dollar amount. Excuse me, just 1 second. Get this off of here.
Are you gonna get it off for me? Thank you.
I think your cord will reach there. All right, guys. Now, so what's the other side of that? Paying off credit cards. What's the other? What do you think would be like the opposite of that? Say again? Okay, what do you mean taking money out?
Withdrawal.
Withdrawals, okay. Now you're on to something, you're heading in the right direction. Okay, credit cards, that's money that you gotta pay. What would be the opposite of that?
Get money.
Getting money. And how do you get money? She says hustling, yeah. So if you mean working hard to get your money, then yes, that's how you get paid.
They pay you for you to keep that money in their bank.
Yeah, okay, banks pay you for you to store money in their account, because then when someone else wants to loan money, or when someone else wants to borrow money, the bank actually loans them your dollars. Okay, so they're paying you a certain interest percentage in order for you to keep that money in their account. Now, let's say you want to save a bunch of money. Okay, now we saw if you just put money into account and leave it alone, it takes a long time for it to grow. Okay, so what else could you do? Say again? Okay, put it in your checkings account. Okay, but what else could you do to help that money grow? Invest more. Okay, every month, put some more money into that account. Okay, now here's the good news, guys. What we're going to do today is almost identical to the credit card stuff. There's only going to be one major difference. Okay, so let's say this. You guys are about to graduate. Okay, and you guys are going to have some money, probably going to have a graduation party and some outdoor socially distanced event, right? Or maybe your family is just going to send you checks because they love you. Or if you're Drew, well, I don't know where I was going with that. I give up. In my head, I was like, I can make a joke here. And then I got there. I was like, I got nothing. Anyway, so let's say this. Drew's got his account, or he's got his party. Okay, and Drew's family gives him a whole bunch of money and credit and cards, and they say, thank you so much, congratulations, I'm so proud of you. And all the money that he has from his party, is what? Make up a number. 2,000. She's faster than you. $2,000. Okay. Drew gets $2,000 in all his cards. What's up, Jordan?
Can you share?
Oh, thank you.
Are you recording too?
I am recording. So we've got that flub of me thinking I can make a joke, but then not doing it. That's recorded and stored for posterity. Okay, and now we've got this up there too. Okay, so Drew's party money is $2,000. Now, Drew's got this, Drew's got a job, and he's going to get paid. And Drew decides that every month, every month he's going to deposit some money. He's going to add some more money to his bank account. Okay, he says, I'm making pretty good money. I'm going to put $100 into that checking account every month, or into that savings account every month. Now, Drew shopped around, and he found a savings account that's going to give him 1.9%, which, believe it or not, is pretty good. Now, Drew, what will 1.9% be as a decimal? 0.019. Great. Okay, now, so this is the money that Drew has. This is the money that he's going to deposit every month. This is the interest rate that he's going to get. So we have the starting balance for each month. Okay, we have the deposit that Drew's going to make. We have the new balance. We have the interest. And then we have the end balance. Month. Okay, then we got some months. Okay, we got month 1, month 2, month 3. Okay, Drew, let's say you're going to do this for 5 years. Okay? So 5 times 12. I'm going to take him to 60. There we go. All right, now come back up here. Okay, your starting balance is equal to this guy. Okay, your deposit, is equal to, now we want it to be this monthly deposit fixed. Okay, we want to keep it at that $100. So what do? Dollar sign, A, dollar sign, 4. Okay, and it highlights that cell, and we know that it's always going to be that A4. It's always going to be that $100 forever and ever, no matter what. New balance is going to be what? Not shoes. How'd you get that?
You have to click it.
Good.
And then
How about plus?
I don't know.
We're going to add those two together. Now, that's what she did in her head, and she said 2100, okay? We're going to put our formula so that it's this plus this equals this. Yes, Adam. Okay?
You know how you put the 100 for the event? You put the money sign and all that. You just put the equal sign and click on a month, like 100, when you done that?
Okay, so if you do that, Adam's saying, can you just do equals and then click on this guy? Okay, if you do that, what's going to happen here, Adam? Okay, it's going to give me it's going to highlight that cell, and I hit enter. But then when I go here, if I try to drag this to the next one, it gives me APR. Okay, and if I go to the next one, it gives me that percentage rate. As I come down here, it's blank. Okay, because what it does is it auto formats. It changes this. So this cell is referring to this piece, means that this cell is going to go one cell down. Okay, we went down one here. We're going to go down one here too. But if we put these dollar signs in, okay, then it keeps it on that 100 forever. And no matter how far I drag this down, it's always going to be that $100. Okay? All right, now our interest. How do we calculate our interest? Drew? Very good. Okay, so we have $3.32 interest on the first month. Okay, now for our end balance, what do we do? Yep, new balance in your interest, done and done. Okay, now our starting balance for the next month is equal to the end balance for the previous month. Okay, we'll bring down these 4. Uh-oh, something went wrong. What went wrong here?
You didn't do the $A,
Yeah, we need the dollar signs on the A and on that 6. Okay, Adam, that's what happens if you don't put those dollar signs. It auto formats and you might not notice it depending on how the rest of the numbers are filled out. But if I fix that, now when I drag this down, now it's fixed. Okay?
Click on E real quick. And then balance.
This one? C2 plus D2. It's dollar sign equals parentheses, dollar sign A, dollar sign 6, divided by 12 times E2. Okay, now let's drag this all the way down. I think, check this trick. I think if I double click this node, it'll auto-populate all the way down here to that 60 month. Okay, so instead of clicking and dragging, a little trick you can do is you can double click on that node and it'll take you down to your lowest cell that you have data in. So as long as you fill out your months all the way to 60, it'll fill this all the way in. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying there? All right. It's a nice little shortcut instead of clicking and dragging. Now, started with 2,000, and at the end of 5 years, he's about 8,500. Okay, at almost 8,500. Now, we did a whole bunch of these where we weren't depositing any extra money. It was just put the money in and leave it alone. 5 years, we saw maybe $50 growth. Okay, not a whole lot of growth at all. Okay, but here, if we're making continuous deposits of $100, okay, at the end of that 5 years, we're gonna have a whole lot more money. Now, guys, this leads into, I know this seems crazy to think about it right now when you're 17, 18 years old, retirement savings. Start when you're young, okay? If you wait until you're 35 to start saving for retirement, okay, between right now at 18 and 35, that's 17 years. We saw how much money he made in 5. Okay, think about how much more money he's gonna get over 17 years. Start right away, okay? Now, you might not have, right out of school, right into your first year in your career, you might not have $100 lying around each month. You might have 30. Okay, but guess what? Even if we make this one $30, his monthly deposit is $30. Okay, he's still more than doubled his money, okay, in that 5 years. And that doesn't happen on putting money in and just leaving it alone. So start your savings early on. Yeah, what's up, Drew?
Is there a way to, when you do an Excel sheet, you could do it so instead of 5 months, it could be like 5 years? I don't know if there was
You could. Drew's asking if you could do it instead of by month, if you could do it by years. And you could, but the formula is going to be a little bit more complicated. Okay. When we break it into months, we can do each one of these little details separate. Okay. We can make the payment. We can find the new balance, interest rate, one thing at a time. But if you're trying to do a whole year at once, keep in mind, each of these deposits is getting interest on. So the formula for that gets kind of messy. It's doable, but it's a little messy. What's up?
I was gonna say, like, couldn't you do, like, in your deposit do 1,200, and then instead of doing it, you could do the 1.9 instead of.
So what Drew's asking seems to make a lot of sense. Okay, he's saying instead of doing monthly deposits, let's just multiply this by 12. Okay, instead of it being $100, it'll be $1,200. Okay, and then instead of having to divide each of these by 12, we could just use that APR. But here's the catch, Drew. Every month, those deposits, this $100 deposit in the first month is getting interest on. Okay, and then the $100 deposit in the next month is getting interest on. So if you try to calculate it all at once at the end of the year, the formula's got to be a whole lot more complicated. Okay, it's totally manageable. There is a formula for that. I'm choosing to not get into that right now because, like I said, it is a messy formula. Okay, it's a great question though, and what Drew's doing is thinking big picture. He's thinking instead of just doing this month by month business, let's look at this all at once, and that's a great idea. Okay, now let's say let's drag this down. Let's say at some point here, Drew is able to add some more money. Instead of $100 a month, now he's making some more money, and he's able to deposit $200 a month. He's really making that money now. What's up? Yeah. Okay, so his new monthly deposit is going to be $200. Okay. We're going to bring all of this down. Okay, but we're going to change one little detail. Okay, right here, instead of A4, we're going to make this $A, $62. Okay, now he's depositing $200 a month. Okay, let's bring this down for another 5 years. Ah, shoot. There we go. So that'll be 120. Okay, highlight this whole row. So now that he's doubling his deposits into this account, so now at the end of 10 years, he's got almost $22,000. So in 10 years, he went from $2,000 to more than 10 times that amount. Okay. Now, guys, you are not going to double your money in account, even in 10 years, just by putting it in there and leaving it alone. You need to keep putting money into that account. Okay. Even if all you're able to do is $20 a month, that's going to make a huge difference. And I know this seems crazy for me to say this right now, but they say right now it's you need $1 million stored in an account in order to be able to retire. Okay. Well, guess what? Now people are living longer. Okay, and they're saying you need more than $1 million. So by the time you guys are ready to retire, you're probably looking at almost $3 million in order to be able to retire. It sounds impossible. It sounds completely unmanageable. Here's how it happens right here. Okay, number 1, start now. Number 2, keep putting money into that account. Okay, if you ever and some professions, they have a pension set aside for you. So they automatically take money out of your paycheck and set it into a pension. And when you retire, you'll keep getting like monthly payments from your salary fund.
You just set that up like with your 401k. How's it match?
This is so what Drew's talking about is a 401k. This is pretty much a 401k kind of plan. Okay. Now it's a good idea to have multiple investment points of investment. Okay, because 401k, a lot of those are based on the stock market. So if the stock market goes down, or if your stocks that you're bought into fail miserably, you lose a ton of money from your 401k. Okay, if you just save it into a bank account, that money's there. Okay, and that money is yours. Okay, and that money is accounted for, it's tallied, it exists. Okay, it's what we call liquid. Okay, it's actually there and you can actually get after it. Okay. Now, obviously, with those accounts, there are penalties for withdrawing money. Okay, so you're planning on retiring in 25 years. Okay, if you withdraw before those 25 years, there's a penalty that you might have to pay. Okay, not half, but there's definitely a sizable amount that you would lose. Okay, now what we notice about this spreadsheet is pretty much the same as the ones that we made. Okay, for the credit cards. What's really the only difference? Right. Okay. You're ending up with more money. How is that happening? As far as the formulas, as far as what we're typing into the spreadsheet, what's really the only thing that's different from this versus the credit card that we were working on? Say again? Okay. Number 1, it's a fixed monthly deposit. Okay. We didn't mess around with any of that percentage payment at the beginning. We went straight into $100 deposit every month. Okay, the other big difference is this end balance, or excuse me, this new balance right here. Instead of subtracting these two, we're adding them together, okay, because you're putting more money into the account instead of taking money off of your debt, okay? All right, now, I don't have the assignment posted. I'm gonna get that set up for you guys. We'll have class time to work on it tomorrow. Don't back up just yet. Okay, we're gonna work on a little bit more of these and I'll give you class time to do one of these on your own. We are going to have an assignment on Wednesday, a remote assignment where you're going to have 2 spreadsheets. So you're going to do sheet 1, sheet 2. Okay. One of these is going to be paying off a credit card. One of these is going to be saving up for retirement. Okay. Questions for me right now? All right, so these, like I said, guys, this is basically the exact same thing that we do for credit cards. The only difference is instead of subtracting this payment from our balance, we're adding it to the balance. That's really the only difference, okay? All right, guys, if you have questions, make sure you get those answered. Have a great day. Try to learn some stuff. Yep.